Hello everybody, My Draw Misfit, welcome in. Welcome. Tonight, we're painting Star Wars. That's what the people wanted. All three of you. So that's what we're gonna get. Welcome in, guys. I'm painting an airspeeder today because it looks like fun. Hope that's okay with everybody. Here we can refer back to that. Yeah, let's grab this. How you guys doing? We're gonna start with Simplicity. That's the name of the game here. Using Black Templar contrast. Just to get a little base coat on the windshield here. This model doesn't even have crew inside, it's just one solid brick. I believe every day's a good day when you paint. Hey, Raja, what's up? Welcome in. How's everybody's weekend been? I believe every day's a good day when you paint. Is that 5 years on the dot? Holy cow. I've been streaming for 5 years. I'd be proud of that fact. Seems like a long time. This is for Star Wars Legion. Yeah. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm doing good though. Doing good. Thank you, Raja. Yeah. It has been a nice weekend, a productive weekend. It's been a good weekend. Got some Iron Warriors Terminators, nice. Was it someone posted that new the new Iron Warriors character? Discord is looking really good. This is an actual vehicle. I have it on a weird stand right now just because this is the way I can paint it easily, but this is an actual usable Mini. They do have downed X-Wing terrain. It's terrain you'll see in this game, but I don't think I would ever find myself buying Legion terrain because it's very expensive and there's not much substance to it. Yeah, what's going on, guys? I was thinking of what's the movie about the professional baseball players are women during World War II? That's a lot of big actors, like Tom Hanks in it. And he says, I believe his quote is, "You're gonna have to pace yourself." Yeah, League of Their Own. Yeah, not Angles. No, and not Angels in the Outfield. No. That is the second reference to that movie that I have seen in the past 2 days. But Tom Hanks says, the women are tired, and he says, "You have to pace yourself. Do this all day for very little money." Gotta feel like that. My streaming life. Hashtag I'm a streamer. Doing well. Yeah. How's the conference? There's no crying in mini painting? Yeah. What'll be you next week? I'll go into Seattle for a conference. Oh, cool. Okay, just a simple. Oh, something fell. Black contrast. We can do more here in a little bit. Actually, you know what? No, I need more black contrast. I can get the little gun, little harpoon gun on top. And a couple of little things. So let's get said harpoon gun. Exhausting like all conventions, yeah. I had my weekend. We had dirt delivered. Big old truckload of dirt. They deliver, I think it was 4 cubic yards. 4 cubic yards of dirt. And it doesn't seem like much, but that's like I don't know the exact math. That's, about 100 square feet or cubic feet or something. Hold on. Yeah. And they delivered it, and they dumped it in our driveway. Well, it was great. It was Saturday morning. They came. They dumped it in our driveway, and we had to get that stuff to our garden. Our garden is all the way in like a side back corner of our yard. So I was like, great. This is so much dirt to move. So it was actually me and the painting son. We were putting dirt in a wheelbarrow and carrying it over to the area, and then we had to put it all in the garden beds. So I have been incredibly sore the rest of the day, or the rest of the weekend. Yesterday and today, I was just kind of dead. Here's what we're gonna do. We're taking Basilicanum Gray. I'm going to carefully put this. This contrast paint is really good on these minis, in my opinion. It's because it's like a one coat tint, so you don't have to mess around with the colors too much. I imagine I'm going to make some mistakes, but we'll come back and correct these. And this mini comes like weirdly halfway assembled. It's kind of a strange thing for like these early Star Wars Legion kits. So most of this was assembled except for like the front guns, the harpoon gun, the two top like panels here, and the two bottom ones. Those are the only things that weren't on this mini. And I think it was kind of an early philosophy of ease to assemble minis. Minor transgressions around here we can correct. What are you guys up to? You guys are awfully quiet this evening. Anybody hobbying? Very sleepy day. I was thinking how long I'll make it before I crash. Yeah, that's fair. I get it. I'm tired too. All I wanted to do today is just completely crash. Let's see. Okay, that does need painted. We gotta get this big. We'll call this like a heat sink on the back of this thing. Get a bigger brush though. Legion models get 90% from primer base. Yeah, Artificer Nemo. Yeah, that is exactly right. These models, they're so easy to paint. I get really intimidated when I start these minis because I have this like fear of I'm not going to make them look like accurate to the films or whatever they're in, and every time that happens, I just start on the mini. I'm like, all right, I'll deal with it as I go. I'll deal with it as I go, and then I get the base colors done. I'm like, oh, this is easy. Okay, I just highlight this, and then I do like a pretty decent job on them. I end up being fairly happy with how they turn out. $16. Dang, you work 16 hours? Hey, John Lockridge, what's going on? How you doing? Well, it's pretty great you can equip this thing with tow cables. It doesn't have like a particularly cool mechanic with the tow cables, which is unfortunate, but it does give you an ability to shoot targets behind you. That's about all it does. And there's two weapons. One is like just a straight up like blaster, and then there's the harpoon. And the harpoon has a little bonus against vehicles. Yeah, it has does immobilizes vehicles for a turn or something like that. But you slept for 16 hours? Holy cow. Hope you're feeling okay. Jeez. Busy work week starting. Yeah. That is rough. What I do, I think I paint this whole area here. This is not the first snowspeeder I've painted. It's the first snowspeeder I've painted for myself. I have painted one of these as a commission before. That was years ago. E.C. Henry, a rendered civilian version of the snowspeeder. E.C. Henry sounds familiar. We found Roby bodies for Space Marines, right? Weekly recovery, dang, okay. That is some crazy weekly recovery. Okay, next, get back to the small brush here. I did manual labor for one day and I'm just done. Part of my thought was like, why do I go to the gym every day if I feel like this after doing one day of like actual labor? And then the other part of me is like, how would I have felt if I had not been going to the gym regularly and then trying to do this? Probably would have had a literal heart attack. So I guess I can't be all that upset. Star Wars vehicles and computer animations. Okay. Nice, and he did a snowspeeder one. You have no idea what to do Tuesday? Oh, no. Having to actually go back to work. Get these little hydraulics. Put them in gray. But we'll leave the panels white. Sleep, the Empire Strikes Back, doing background ships, random ships. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. There was a dude I used to watch. He would do, you guys probably know exactly who it is when I mention his name, but he would do like ship breakdowns, and he'd talk about like ships from various sci-fi franchises. And I remember when he started talking about ships from The Expanse. And he was doing like battle breakdowns for The Expanse, and like how guns work on ships in The Expanse and all this stuff with The Expanse. And I was like, man, this show sounds really cool. And so then I started watching The Expanse, and I had heard that this particular YouTuber actually worked with the show creators to come up with like technical information for ships in the series. I can't remember what he was called though. That was a long time ago. Great there. Let's see. I assume some of these weapons, for the most part, the same color as the rest of the Snowspeeder, but Nebulon B, senior put together is awesome. Oh, that's cool. It's like up armored and stuff. The Neb B. Neb B is like my favorite Star Wars like capital ship. All right. Yeah, because the idea was the rebels stole it. Yeah. Link in Discord? Yeah, sure. This may have been a video I have seen years ago, too. See, Henry sounds familiar. Of course, YouTube wouldn't save that anymore. They, like, barely save watch history. They'll pull up videos from a year ago and say you've never watched them, when you definitely did. That's what's fun about watching a weekly series. When YouTube pops up and says, hey, you haven't watched this video from 2 years ago. It's like I watch every video. It's in general. Okay, cool. Thank you. So, Painting Sun bought a new game for his Switch with some encouragement from myself. But he ended up getting Pokemon Fire Red, that just released on the Switch and Switch 2 as like a 30th anniversary game. I gotta tell you, I have some memories with the original 3 Pokemon games. Because originally it was Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, and then they had Pokemon Yellow as like the special edition Pikachu version. And okay, I think that's it for the gray. Yeah, I think that's it. So I didn't know. I had those back in. Remember Red when it was released for my birthday? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I have 2 older brothers. My oldest brother, so growing up when I was really little, my parents got us all a Game Boy, and she ended up buying one for each of us, which is probably a lot of money. I have no idea how much those would have cost, but they were the gray brick ones, the big ones. So we had a bunch of random Game Boy games, just the most random stuff. And eventually what happened was my parents bought my oldest brother and my other older brother. I have 2 older brothers. They have the same birthday, but it's a year apart. So they are like Irish twins in the truest sense. So for their birthday, my parents bought both of them. She got my oldest brother a red Game Boy, and it was smaller. It wasn't a Game Boy Color, but it was a smaller one. She bought him a red one and bought my other brother a blue one, and then bought them Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue respectively. So they didn't have a Game Boy Color. Game Boy Color didn't exist yet, but they got those 2 Game Boys, and they each got Pokemon Red and Blue. And I would play those games on their on their Game Boys or on mine every chance I could get. And so, was there salt around it? I'm not old enough to remember that, because, yeah, I was way too young to know any kind of salt about anything. What's up, Blue? So for like the next year, I had to rely on asking my brothers to play Pokemon, and like that's all I wanted to do. Like that was my game. I was done playing anything except that. Well, a little later, for my birthday the following year, my parents ended up buying me the yellow Game Boy. It was a whole package. It was like the special like Pikachu edition Game Boy Color, and it was a yellow Game Boy, and it had Pokemon Yellow in it, and it was awesome. So not only did I get like the coolest starter in Pikachu, and then Pikachu would like follow my character around and everything. It was like the greatest thing. But I also had the ability, I learned later, the ability to get all of the starter Pokemon, and they just kind of get given to you throughout the game, which is really great. I played that game so much. My Pokemon Yellow. With the flashlight attachment, the magnifying glass, like all the things. That was what I had. Frankie Fingers, what's going on? What is going on? So that was the only Pokemon game. Those are the only Pokemon games I played, like ever, like until my son got Scarlet. He got Pokemon Scarlet with his Switch when we got him a Nintendo Switch, and yeah. So I had no idea, but I heard that there was such a thing called Pokemon Fire Red. To get all the starters. Dang, okay. You'd get them and you'd trade them, right? Is that what you would do, or what? Yeah, Yellow was the best, yeah. So, Yellow was hard. It was hard, though, because Pikachu was terrible into the first boss. Like Game Boy, but plays many different systems. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. So, 3 guesses which color card I picked. Yeah, you picked blue. Yeah, nice. So yeah, I got my son Fire Red. Well, he actually bought it. It was his money that he had. He bought it, and the Zubats. Yeah, Pikachu wrecked. It was Mount Moon. Yeah, the caves. Yeah. And we've been playing it a bunch today. So we spent a lot of our day playing Pokemon Fire Red. He picked Bulbasaur, like a true G. He knew the perfect starter was Bulbasaur, and yeah, we're having a good time. He definitely is. He is absolutely the best starter. Yeah. Also the coolest starter. I mean, Squirtle's also cool, but Bulbasaur's great. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, been playing through. He got his first gym badge, and he got into Mount Moon. Couldn't get any bit further past that. I guess we stopped for the day. It wasn't that he was struggling, but so good. It's got the music and everything. Oh, it's such a cool game. Well, hello, Mrs. Drawley. Welcome in. Okay. I'm gonna paint this. Yes. Alright, let's see if I can. Blastoise staying? No, Ivysaur or Venusaur. Venusaur was the best. We'll sharpen these lines later. I'm not too worried about. Yeah, the dragon look, yeah. Maybe I was just like a hipster because I saw everybody seemed to like Charizard. because he was like one of the best Pokemon like to be in like card form, right? He was like the desirable one. Fire types are harder to come by. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. The early game's rough. Yeah, if you just want an easy early game, Bulbasaur. Squirtle's all right, but Squirtle struggles in like the forest and stuff, in Viridian Forest. Very valuable card. Yeah, we'll see. I was teaching my son the techniques on how to level up crappy Pokemon and everything, because he's played Scarlet, and in Pokemon Scarlet, I don't know when they implemented this, but like when you win a battle against anything, all of your Pokemon get a little bit of experience. So you can just sit Pokemon like in your deck or whatever, and they'll level up. Whereas in the older ones, they had to actually participate in some way. So I was trying to teach him, like, yeah, you know, he's got like a level 2 Pidgey that he caught, and I'm like, yeah, we had a trainer. Yeah, I was like, all right, just keep that in as your starter, this little Pidgey, and then your first move is just putting it away and just bringing out the Bulbasaur. And that's what he was doing. Power level the thing. Yeah, the Magikarp, yeah. Also funny, he got to a dude in some like training center, Pokemon center or whatever, and the guy's like, hey, he's like, I got a Pokemon you can buy. I have a Magikarp you can buy for $500. You want it? And he's like, wow, that sounds really cool. I was like, don't do it. He's scamming you. I mean, once you level it, like, that's the dragon. What does that turn into? Like, this is such a good Pokemon, but yeah, like, wait a little later. Yeah. Gyarados, yeah. Yep. That's the one. That's it for the orange. Let me get just another coat on here. Yeah, I don't know anything beyond Gen 1. Yep. Nothing. You know what? I think I'm going to paint this little side panel too. Let me get this. There's this little corner panel right here. I want to make it look more continuous. No idea how the bottom gets painted. None of my concern. Oh dang, okay, this one has a bunch of orange paint. Okay, I'll paint the bottom. That looks cool. Let's do this. Someone's like random 3D render of this model or something, and I'll run with it. Six-foot squirrel, welcome. Welcome in. How you doing? The question is, what all do I paint? Okay, I'll paint these things here. Okay, with the newer stuff, miss most gens though. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many Pokemon, it's like impossible to keep up. Oh, darn it. I touched the spot. I touch other stuff. Prime the Death Guard kill team. Being over the current project. Oh, cool. Iron Here champion. Nice. Nice. Very cool stuff. Build some dark AdMech. Nice. What are you doing with them that makes some dark AdMech? Bolton. Stuff. Glad people were hobbing. I airbrushed a whole bunch of minis today. Okay, what I'm gonna do, paint a couple of these panels here. Adding Chaos and Xenotech. Okay. The guy who paints his Warhammer minis and all the different Pokemon color schemes. That's great. Are they Tyranids that he paints like that? Because that would be incredible if it were Tyranids. Ooh, where am I looking? What am I looking for? Through these different layers. Not expecting me sinks, yeah. That's what I go for. Where am I looking? 6-foot squirrel. Looking in whips. Is this your is that the Iron Here champion? Nice. What kind of blue is that? It's almost like a metallic blue. What did you do for that? That's really cool looking. He got a golden demon pin with a Genestealer. Nice, a Pokemon flavored Genestealer. That's so perfect. Second coat of paint. Knight Steel and Leviathan blue contrast. Oh, okay, wow. Don't own Leviathan blue. Ultramarines blue, which is one of the worst contrast paints I think I've ever used. Here, I might come back with. I missed some spots of this contrast. Go out and grab a couple spots. We're moving on this many. I want to put a nice, like, diluted wash. Hope it keep its integrity, but really thin. I think the way to do that, either thin down inks or contrast paints. We try inks. You guys want to try some inks? This guy. Out. Yeah. You've been doing all kinds of TCG. Dang. You did a ton of yard. Me too. I did a ton of yard work this weekend. Dang. Yeah, I'm all tuckered out as well. Okay, let's get Silicano Gray. Missed a couple little spots, so I'm sure we're a little more thorough here. See him now if they're right in my face. Garden tour? No, I probably won't do a garden tour. Alright, yeah, I shoveled dirt. You know, to my family's credit, the three of us did this. Painting some was actually a good help. But we did that in about 2 hours. I was just moving. I was like, I just want to get it done. Just getting dirt into a raised garden bed. moving it over to the side of the yard and then getting into the raised garden bed. So I was shoveling it twice. Which was kind of frustrating to have to do, but so deep in ground, you have to get the tractor to pull it out. Dang. Tomorrow evening. Well, yeah, I might. Well, no, it's gonna be 30 degrees tomorrow. I'm not mowing the grass. Supposed to have just a random cold day tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to use this bright neutral gray. They don't have like a cool gray, do they? They have like a mid-tone cool gray, right? They do. They have a cool gray. They don't have a bright cool gray though. So I'm going to be stuck with bright neutral gray. April, Ohio. Yeah, freezing temperatures. Possible snow in the morning. It's ridiculous. The hand cramps, you got like carpal tunnel or something? Causes that? I used to get cramps in my hand when I would paint. So I would hold my hands up. I had a surgery to fix it. 10 out of 10. That surgery was great. I have no problem repeating that one if I had to. Yeah, lake effects. I don't think we're in a lake effect area. I don't think we're that far north. At least I have never heard anyone refer to our weather as lake effect. Sympathize the hand cramps, yeah. Oh man, my dad was a mechanic for 45 years. His hands were brutal. I mean, they still are brutal, but I remember the craziest thing, Frankie Fingers. My dad's hands, my entire life were stained black under his fingernails, like all around his fingernails and his knuckles, like in the fingerprints and stuff, always just black. And I just thought like his hands were permanently like that, and that's just how his hands were. It was like less than a month after he retired, I remember seeing him and his hands were completely clean, and it blew my mind. As a 30-year-old or whatever, however old I was, saw my dad's hands actually like clean and not stained from like grease and soot and everything for the first time in my life. Crazy. More cramps. Just can't make a fist in the morning. Oh no. It's not good. Used to be the same, started wearing gloves. Yeah, yep. Kids kept getting cancer. Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy, I bet. Just being around all that stuff. Hey, Spill Paint Pot, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you. Just done some hand stretches, yeah. This little back window. The vote was Star Wars minis tonight, so I'm painting my T-47 airspeeder for Star Wars Legion. That window and the back window. Yeah, more touch-ups. Is a respray for airbrush? Yeah, yep. Yeah, definitely, guys. Yeah, don't mess around with the chemicals and stuff that you're using. Yeah. So, fun story about this Mini. I may have told this story about this Mini before. I've had this Mini for an amount of time. And I was trying to think back on when I actually bought this Mini. And I think I bought this Mini in 2019 or earlier. I think I may have bought this before. Or I guess probably maybe earlier, 2019. And then this Mini sat in its box, taped up, like sealed, for 7 years almost, or more than. Because I bought it back when Miniature Market did a clearance sale on Star Wars minis, and this was one of them. And it was like less than $10. I was like, yeah, I'll buy this thing for less than $10, like a $40 Mini or something. I was like, one day I'll use it. Playing this game a whole bunch. Never painted the vent on that side. Come back and get it. Let's do that real quick before I move on anymore. So I noticed the pre-orders that popped up today from Games Workshop has a bunch of Italian box sets, but it doesn't have individual releases for the guard vehicles. Thought that was too bad. Man, Yarick being $50 or $48 retail for his human-sized mini is pretty crazy. That's pretty insane price. Okay. Let's get back to our touch-ups. I guess the other campaign sets didn't get Battle Forces with their new minis, right? They just had random Battle Force stuff, and then their new minis were their own releases. Is that right? Because I totally understand their policy of always FOMO, and then once the FOMO's out, you release the other stuff, but so the rest of the launch box is, I won't say it till it's pre-order. Yeah, it'll be a couple weeks probably. They'll show off something tomorrow. You know, they're doing one mini at a time. I think they'll show it. They'll end up showing it all before there's a before it goes on pre-order, but I think we got a little while yet. I think more likely is that someone leaks everything, whether it's promo photos from a magazine or the rulebook itself or just a box that accidentally gets mailed to somebody. That's the most likely way that we see the box contents. City of Ash. Yeah, leaks are pretty crazy. The first Star Wars painter I found on Twitch. Oh, Rise Against. What's going on?
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you.
Hey, and thank you for the follow. I don't always paint Star Wars, but my stream voted for it before stream. I wasn't quite sure what I was wanting to paint tonight, so I have a Star Wars Legion army I'm working on, and it's currently the Echo-based Defenders kind of theme. That's what we're doing. So just putting some base colors down. Oh, it's an Armada guy. What's up, Rise Against? Dude, Armada, I think, is my favorite tabletop game of all time, and I used to play so much. Went to Worlds in 2016. Felt pretty good about that. I did pretty well. That was fun. That was like a highlight of my my tabletop gaming hobby was getting to go to Worlds for Armada and like meet all the people and play crazy games, and yeah, watching the final game in person. Wishing I was in the final game in person, but was not. Worlds this year. Would love the scene. Trying to get tournaments in the Boston area. Oh, cool. Very cool. We have a pretty decent community around me in Ohio. This line here, yeah, there we go. But I haven't been able to play in a long time. Like I've been focusing on so many other things that I have so many Armada minis. I love it. That's a collection I'll never get rid of. Yeah, it straightened out those lines really well. Okay, good deal. Cleveland Houston scenes are keeping the game alive. Yeah. There's a ton. Oh man, thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have a ton of 40k minis. I paint a lot of 40k. I'm a commissioned painter, so I paint a lot of 40k for people, but I'm all over the place with the games I play. So the flavor of this month is Star Wars Legion. I saw the cool announcements they had. They're streamed during Adepticon, and got really excited for like Mandalorians and stuff. But then I decided, like, man, the Echo-based stuff looks really cool, so I ended up not quite done yet, but I did end up I got painted Luke on a Tauntaun here. I gotta finish up the base. The snow isn't as like thick of snow as I wanted it to be, so I didn't get to that yet. I want to do some OSL from his lightsaber onto the Tauntaun and his body proper, but otherwise this is my Luke I'm really happy with. This was like an afternoon of putting base coats down, and then I took a 3-hour stream and did all the highlights. These minis are so easy to paint, guys. What's up, Doc Rose? How you doing? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I'm not from Cleveland. I'm around Central Ohio, and there's a huge like Ohio presence anyway. In Central Ohio we have the guy that got second in Worlds this past, not this year, but like last year. No, was it this year? I can't remember. May have been last year, but he's from my area. He came into the game long after I got out, though, so I only played against him once when I jumped back in on a random weekend after not playing for years, and I was running a meme list. I like to play. I didn't know who the guy was, and I beat him. It was so funny. He was really confused at my list and how he lost, and it was I thought it was cool. Like, he was asking all kinds of questions about the list and like really curious and everything. And then I see this dude, and he goes and he wins Worlds, and I was like, yeah, I beat the world champion. You know, I can retire. Well, he's not the world champion. He's second in Worlds, I guess. But okay, here's what we got. We got our touch-ups. Touch-ups are good. The black on the windshields could be more solid, but we'll get to that after a wash. I think we don't need to stress about that yet. Yeah, I think it's for a little wash. No, hold on, one more thing. Damon, yes, yeah, Damon, yep, that was him. That's right, Rise Against. Look at this guy, knowing the community and everything. Been there? I was wondering if I missed out during my visit all day. Yeah, bragging rights. That's right. I got my bragging rights. Okay, so we're gonna make a little wash here. Where do I want to put it? Yeah, okay. Do that. I'm gonna use a little palette here. That's really cool, Rise Against. It's always great to see Armada players around. It's Cathedra. There's an 80% chance of him with an SSD. Yeah, dang, that's cool. Yeah, let me get this paint out. Is it you? No, not you. Where's my black ink? Okay, there we go. Carbon black. Give it a good shake. We got Liquitex. I think what I'll do, I'm gonna put just a tiny bit of this raw umber in here. We're gonna try just to warm it up a tiny bit. That's all. So, one of the things about playing Armada in general, and you know, communities change, and it's, you know, things happen and stuff, but I don't think I ever met a better overall gaming community than the Armada group. Yeah, it was a good game. Like, people just showed up for fun, and they just showed up to play the game, and that was, you know, I probably tell the story way too much, but when I was at Worlds, you know, we hung out, we were watching the final match. It was a really intense game, bunch of people watching, and and one of the things after that final match, like maybe half an hour after that match was set to end, was the start of a doubles tournament. And the doubles tournament was purely like casual, just for fun, no stakes thing. There was nothing on the line for that. They were just giving out prizes and just a reason for people to play the game and whatever. Well, we were watching the finals match. The two guys were playing. One dude makes a move. He charges in with a Assault Frigate Mark II or whatever, it gets hit by a bunch of Y-Wings with like triple bomber command when he couldn't do like all the rerolls before that was nerfed and everything, and he blows it up on his die roll, and the guy's like, alright, that was my gambit, game over. They shake hands. The dude is literally the guy that won. It was Josiah, JJ's Juggernaut, I think is his screen name online. He plays a lot of different games, but he wins this tournament, and like his first action is not like, woo, I won worlds, or like, you know, wow, that was a tough match, or like he shook the guy's hand, they congratulate each other, and then he threw his car keys to a friend of his who was watching, like standing by, and told him, he said, hey, he's like, my doubles fleet is in the car, grab it. And like that's what he did. He was just so ready to play more after playing like six or seven games over 2 days. And then this dude was like, I'm gonna go play 2 more rounds in a doubles tournament. And he just throws his keys to the other guy. He was just ready to go. It was crazy. Like, that was the whole attitude of everybody. I think they had a spot when they did that doubles tournament too, signing up ahead of time, because it was at the like Fantasy Flight headquarters. They had like a huge like gaming warehouse basically. Yeah, exactly. Well, he okay, so they had the sign. That's way too dark. They had the sign up, and it was like 8 teams. Like, we got enough for 8 teams, enough space or whatever. And people were not having it. They just kept putting their name on the list when we got there until there were like 30 teams on that list. And eventually what happened was they saw, and as like the X-Wing tournament was clear, which X-Wing was their big game, so fair, they prioritized X-Wing. But as the X-Wing players cleared out, they cleared tables and they made space for everybody to play in the Armada doubles tournament. And it was literally like 60 plus people playing a 2-round doubles tournament for no other reason than just to hang out and push their little spaceships around. It's good stuff. Great memories of that game. This glaze and wash medium in the zone for athletes. Hot tonight. I have a feeling about MG, FFG, they can use it. Yes, Rise Against, yeah. So I don't even think it was like, yeah, Frankie Fingers. I think there's a bit of that. Yeah, I don't even know if I would say it was like, he's in the zone and feels like he can keep going. Like, the dude obviously can win against literally anybody, right? Because he just did. He beat everybody, but the hot streak's over. He got all the things, but I think he just wanted to play the game more and didn't want to miss out on a chance on playing more games. Let's put some more thinner in here. That's thin enough. I put way too much. The ink was more powerful than I imagined. Let's see. Ooh, that's not bad. Not bad. I think a little more dilution. A little more. I don't want to kill all my color here. Yes, I looked into the legacy stuff a little bit, but not too much. And I play tested for Armada, and that was probably the worst time I had playing Armada, or being involved in Armada, was play testing. People are miserable when you play test games. I think anybody who play tests for a tabletop game can probably relate. That was horrible. Okay, yeah, that's a nice color. All right. Hopefully this sinks into a recess as well, and nice and thin. Might be a little dark. Why is playtesting bad? So the thing about playtesting that makes it miserable, actually, no, oh man, that's good. That's really good. Look at that. Surprised myself. Oh, inks are the way to go. Oh yeah, that's so good. Sorry, I gotta revel in this moment here. Bit of reveling. When people are playtesting, there's like a certain attitude that comes out. Poggle and the Geonosians, is that what you're saying? Poggle the Lesser. So there's kind of an attitude that happens among people that playtest, and it's essentially, so like the purpose of playtesting for a tabletop game is it's just like a checks and balances thing. All right, there's no major changes that are going to happen the result of a playtest. Like normally decent game designers understand what they're doing, and they're kind of like, hey, is there something like super unexpected here? Are there like little adjustments that are needed, or points slightly off, those kinds of things. People tend to go into playtests thinking that they're the ones designing the game. I'm gonna revel in this moment. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. But yeah, there ends up being this weird attitude that people get. It's like combined with like whenever you do a playtest, there's always like an internet forum involved. I went and messed it up. Hold on. Let's get that back. Okay. It's typically you get your instructions for playtesting. You don't get physical stuff to playtest with. That's not what they do. You got a proxy, which is already like a meh, kind of stinks. So you're proxying and you're using like PDFs, and maybe you print out your own cards and your own rules if you want, but otherwise you're using PDFs. And no, Airspeeder, you put the chat on rails. All right, I will talk about Armada every stream all the time. I tell people that. We occasionally get Armada people coming in, I love it. But so there's already like a kind of like a not amazing feeling playing the game, because you're doing this like with not official things and not like cool minis. You're playtesting a Starhawk, and you're like, man, that's cool. We don't even know what a Starhawk looks like yet, but you don't get a Starhawk, you don't get a picture of one. You just get like the rules for it or whatever, and then so you don't have official components, which stinks, and you're dealing with PDFs and like printouts and whatever. So you're doing that, and then you have a minimum number of games that you test to like, that you have to play to like qualify as like completing your round of testing, because sometimes they'll send like free product to the group. Not everybody gets something. It's just like the group lead gets a thing, and if he decides he wants to give it to his other testers, he can. Okay. Well, You do that, you're not getting anything out of it, really, like most of the time. And then you go into a forum where people have this idea that they're the ones that are designing the game. And on top of like internet things, and then a lot of time I've noticed this with the multiple games I've play tested, is these people know each other. Like, you know, it's a community, right? And they get into arguments. People get into so many arguments about the dumbest things, where people are like, they're like, man, this is really good. I think it needs nerfed a little bit because it was really good for my testing. People are like, no, it's really bad. Okay, that's fine. But then it turns into like, this miniature really needs dropped down by 2 points or it's going to be completely busted. And then people are like, no, it's too good at 2 points less. And, and then they get into arguments. And one playtest session I was involved in, players actually got temporary bans from the forum because they started like hurling personal insults at each other over a playtest session. And that is not the attitude that I want to be around when I play games. Okay, that wash turned out way better than I thought it would. That did, like, your guys' camera, the screen looks a little more red, but Farmhawk with Gunner Lane's PTSD. Too passionate. They get way too passionate, yeah. What's up, Phaedrus? How you doing? Yeah, it's I'm also any of you that have hung around here for a little bit probably understand that I am really bad at like social media in general. I stream regularly and everything, but otherwise, like, I'm terrible at posting things, and I kind of hate social media, which is great that this is my job. But I had a hard time posting in forums, and some of the things were like the stipulations for participating were that you had to participate in the forums. You had to post your thoughts, you had to respond to people, you had to participate. And so like it felt like college work again. I do need a social media manager, that's true, yeah. Where I would just like reply to forums and be like, wow, that's a good idea, and like that would be my contribution. I hated it so much. Another thing was when you play test, normally every game you play, you have to take pictures, which I forget so often. Even I try to take pictures of all my games I play now, and I forget most of the time. You also have to fill out a questionnaire, and it's normally a really extensive questionnaire. And I know when we play tested Armada, we would meet up at someone's house. So I hosted 6 or 8 people at my house, and we fit tables in my house around the house, and we all played games at the same time, and then we all hung out and like talked about our games. That was like a 5-hour thing. That's exhausting. The questionnaires are always exhausting, and the questions are super detailed, and it's like, can I just tell you about my game? But no, they want to know like very specific things, and it sounds like your dream. Yeah. I thought I would love it, and it's too much. I love playing games. My dream, like if I could do anything as like a career and not do anything else, it would be playing games. Not even painting minis, even though I'm the painting dad. That wash worked really well. I'm really happy with that. But pretty jaded with play. Yeah, see, Phaedrus knows. Yep. Playtesting is exhausting. I would not choose to playtest. I would just hang out and play games with people, and Yeah, I don't think I'd like TOing also. If you love to TO, you might enjoy it more. Yeah, if you like kind of the paperwork aspect of it. Wife says it's bedtime. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, alright. You have a good one, Rise Against. Hey, hopefully I see you around. I stream Tuesday through Thursday during the late morning, early afternoon, Eastern Daylight Time right now. But great chatting with you. Come hang out in the Discord if you haven't seen a link. If someone could post a link there, I'll post a link real quick. Hold on. Let's get this. Boom. Yeah. Jump in and say hi. Chat Armada with us. Love to. Good deal, man. Have a great one. Good to meet you. Guys, that wash was really nice. Okay, inks are for the win with this. Just inks and a ton of flow improver. I did put just a little bit of the glaze and wash medium in there, just to maybe give it a little bit of body. It seemed to help a lot. Even where it pools, I don't know if you can tell here, it's pooling just ever so slightly down here. The pigment is like a little darker here, but if you look at pictures of these in the movies, their wings look all like ruddy and nasty. So like I don't even feel bad. Yeah, that worked out really well. Good deal, Wash. Good deal. The reason I play complicated war games anymore is because I enjoy the IP. Otherwise, those need to be pretty light, so I can get through it. Yes. Yeah, Phaedros. Hello, Phaedros. Yeah. I have... My wife laughs at me when we do this. One of my biggest pet peeves with playing games with people is when people don't think about their turn when it's not their turn. So there's that, and it's especially true when I play board games. So I teach my son when we play board games, when it's not your turn, you're thinking about what you're going to do on your turn. So when it is your turn, you just move your pieces and you're done. You take your turn, you're done. It's better for everybody that way. It's a better way to play the game. When I play people in tabletop war games, I have probably one of my biggest pet peeves with playing against people in these Legion 40k kind of games. There's people that I play so many people that do this. When it's their turn and it's their turn to be moving their pieces, they can't play the game and talk at the same time. And if you can't do that, that's fine. But when it's your turn, I hope that you would choose to play the game on your turn and then maybe talk when it's not your turn. So I have multiple people when I play a game against them. I don't talk when it's their turn. I don't ask them about anything. I don't compliment their minis. I don't do anything except respond to what they're doing when it's their turn. Because if I say something, they will get off on a tangent and start talking about stuff, and they won't play. And so they won't be stuck on their turn for a half hour, 40 minutes or something, and I just want to be out of there by 9 o'clock or whatever. I'm on a time limit, dude. I don't want to be up late. I got a family. I want to get home to my family. I don't want to sit here and just be chatting over the table when I have a turn I want to take. like walking and drinking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is something I enjoy about a tournament setting, is that people tend to be more like locked in, right? Where it's their turn, they take their turn. Now I've played games with chatters during tournaments, who are not able to finish turns in a reasonable time, and then we don't finish the game before the clock goes, and I hate that. I hate not being able to finish the game. I was at it's a Middle Earth tournament, and I remember my first round, I was playing as my dwarves, and my first round was against a Moria player. So I was like, yeah, Moria goblins against the Khazad-dûm dwarves. Perfect matchup. So we're playing, and this dude would stop and chat. I do not do that, but he would stop and chat, he would stop and chat, he would stop and chat. So we get our last few minutes, and I have like 2 more moves to make to get models onto his home objective and to outright win the game. And otherwise, it's like really close. And we're getting close to the timer. And the TO kind of calls it. And I asked him, I was like, can we have one more turn? Because like I didn't say it outright, but this dude had been talking through the whole game, and like we were at no conclusive point of this game, and I caught it too late to where I started moving my minis toward his objective to get his objective, and I asked the TO like, hey, can we have one more turn? He's like, is it relevant? I was like, yes, it is, and he allowed it, and I appreciated that. I bet my opponent was really mad about that because he ended up losing the game for that last turn. But the dude was also talking through the whole thing. So, you know. Was frustrating. I've never played with a chess clock, but I wouldn't be against it. DHT. Okay. Yeah, I can talk while I move. I can like talk while I play the game. You know, with most games that I'm familiar with the rules. So like Heresy, Middle Earth, not Legion anymore. I have to get back into Legion more, but was it chatty or underhanded strategy? Yeah. I'm sure toward the end it was probably underhanded strategy. Too bad. His plan didn't work. Alright, something I wanted to do. That's my color, I think. Darker. I don't need to go any darker. Never mind. Jeez, Phaedros. I'm trying to have a good time. He's out here trying to... He's playing mind games with his opponents. What are you asking them, like their preferred salad dressing to like figure out what kind of gambit they're gonna use? Like, this person likes ranch dressing, so they're an idiot. So they will only attack frontally. Favorite color red? Alright, yeah, Bach or Beethoven, yeah. Favorite color red. Obviously a double envelopment coming. I love that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that in a game I play. It's gonna happen. Okay. We're gonna come back to our... The windshield needs the most work. That is definitely the low point of this Mini at this point. The coolest Rebel vehicles, yeah. Yeah, the not being a starfighter. I think it's cool though. It gives it like a unique role. And I like the idea that just because something flies doesn't make it a starfighter, right? Or doesn't make it like space worthy. I think there's something to that. Yeah, I do like this kit a lot. I've always liked this kit. I mean, speaking of starfighters, Phaedros, did you see that they have starfighters coming to Legion? It's gonna be a new unit type. Actual, genuine aircraft rules. Yeah. Planes have not faded into obsolescence in Star Wars is neat. I think it makes sense, though. Like, I imagined that these airspeeders were not necessarily built for war. The others have been like not confirmed but accidentally leaked. I don't know if you saw the ones that have been leaked, but so I feel like this is more of like a civilian vehicle with like the tow cable. What is it? Is it like a farmer's pickup truck equivalent? I don't know, but it's like a utility vehicle, right? That maybe they added the weapons onto it or enhanced the weapons or, you know, did something to make it obviously more warfare focused. But I think that's fine. I think you know, just because you have the ability to travel in space doesn't mean everything you build can travel in space, right? It's a lot of extra money that goes into paying for something that's space worthy. Even though in Star Wars it seems like, you know, the biggest hunk of junk can stay space worthy. Yeah, Phaedros, I think the Asmodee accidentally posted product pages for fighters, and it was the a V-Wing, Republic V-Wing, and a Separatist Vulture were some that they posted. Yeah, half the Rebel fleet salvage, yeah. Rebels does a really good job. Star Wars Rebels, as a show, does a good job at showing that. Like, they're literally stealing starfighters from junkyards. Spacecraft V-Wing, yeah, for a Star Wars Legion spacecraft, the V-Wing. The clone starfighter. That sounds a lot like a TIE fighter. I don't think the Empire had had a starfighter leaked, but I imagine it's a TIE fighter. Like you can't not make it a TIE fighter, right? That's one of the most iconic things. Yeah, not an ARC 170. I bet though, Phaedrus, I think it's a pretty safe bet that there's going to be another wave of these starfighters, and you can bet there's going to be the alphabet, right? So you have the A, B, X, Y eventually. ARC 170, the Republic Y Wing. We got the V19 Torrent is a great Republic fighter. That looks sweet on the table. A TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, TIE Bomber, what TIE Advanced? That could be one with Vader in it, right? The Separatist, Hyena Bombers. Oh, the gunship, the drone or the droid gunship, the HMP or whatever. That sweet gunship, that'd be cool, like flying saucer looking one. Tons of cool stuff they can do. A Lambda shuttle's probably too big. Jaded. I would guess. So Star Wars Legion is making a mode, and they've been working on it for a while, but they're working on a mode that's a what's it called? Grand Scale War, I think is what it's called. It's 2,000 point battles. So a standard battle in Legion's 1,000 points. The grand scale is 2,000 points. I think it can scale up, but it plays on the same size table at 2,000 points. And what you do is you activate what they call divisions. So you'll choose like a command division. It's a command squad and like some infantry squads and stuff. And then you have like an infantry division that's infantry with maybe like a support or something, and there's armored divisions and there's elite stuff like that, like recon divisions. There's these different divisions. So you purchase divisions and then you activate divisions as one. So like you activate the infantry division, it's your whole division moves like a Legion squad, but you move each individual leader and stuff. They just have to be kind of close to each other. It's the whole thing. If that grand scale war comes out and it's popular, like really popular, I could see AMG working toward making models focused on grand scale war. So like the clone LAT, like the LAT I, right? The classic clone LAT, the paperclip starship. The HMP is a big one, right? Lambda shuttles, if we're still talking about aircraft, and just landers and stuff like that. U-wings, a U-wing might be a good one. Yeah, they have like ground craft, like ATTEs and AT-ATs and stuff. So they were saying that the full, is it called Full Scale War? I couldn't remember what it was called, but Full Scale War, they were saying that their goal is to make it a 3-hour game. So they did cut it to 4 turns, didn't they? But they said their goal is to make it a 3-hour game with like kind of smoothing out the features of the game and stuff. And people were saying they were taking close to 4 playing it at Adepticon. Which is not bad when you have no idea how the rules play, right? Yeah, also fun thing, Phaedrus, as far as the HMP being too big. So when I play tested for Legion, one specific model I play tested was the, hold on, let me see if I can get this right, what this middle model was. Is this the one? That's the one. Okay. The okay, the vehicle I play tested, which was ridiculous, was the ATAP. And if you look up the ATAP and you see how absolutely massive that thing is, that I was playtesting, and I assume they had a sculpt. We playtested it for like 2 rounds, and they were like, "No, we're taking this out." It may have been the model was too big. It may have been its rules weren't as, I don't know. Wait, the ATAP was in Mall? What was that in Mall? No, that was... It's the big artillery one, so it's like a 3-legged walker. And it has a huge artillery cannon, but it's like bigger than an ATTE. Where it deploys by putting it's like a kickstand leg it's got in the front. ATDP. Okay. No, yeah, it's not the classic like walker like ATST, early ATST. It's the big artillery one. The all-terrain attack pod. More closet space and more money, yeah. It was funny, I was trying to dig out my old Legion minis to see what I had. I was like, I'm starting a Rebel army for the first time. What kind of Rebel stuff do I just have sitting around? I have a ton. I have so much. Way too much. Too many tokens. Too many everything. Yeah, it's walking artillery. Yeah, it's a cool machine. It shows up one time in episode 3 in like a background shot on is like Felucia or something. The like weird jungle planet where Aayla Secura is killed by the clones in Order 66. I think that's where it shows up. It's just walking in the background. There or Megiddo, where Coyote Mundi is killed. If you look at the size of the thing, it's bigger than an ATTE. So they had at least considered putting that in the game, which everyone was surprised. They're like, why that one? Probably because they could put it on a base, like a reasonable sized base. Yeah, the full-scale war rules I am very interested in. Goodman made sure her death was quick and painless. I love it, dude. I love Battlefront so much. That campaign was some of the best Star Wars at the time. The clone, the Tamara Morrison narration over the story. Still is. That's true. It is. I just finished a Galactic Conquest with my son, last week. Playing as the Rebels. He doesn't like Galactic Conquest as much. But I enjoy it. That's my favorite way to play that game. Because it's got a strategy element. Of course I like playing it. The biggest downfall of that game is you cannot play online co-op Galactic Conquest. It's impossible. There's no mod that can make it work either. Nightfall, yeah, Nightfall was great. Yeah. The temple, dude. On Conquest. Did you use? Yeah, this ink turned out incredible. So I used this Liquitex, this carbon black, and I used just the tiniest bit of this raw umber. And I thinned it down with a whole bunch, like a ton of flow improver. Bit of something, my flow improver. And then a drop of this glaze and wash medium. And yeah, I feel like it turned. I don't think I could have asked this to turn out any better. Really good. I may work on this some tomorrow on my own. Get these highlights going, but this model also a good opportunity to finish drawing, but we can start getting little edge highlights around things. I'll probably hit a couple little dry brushes around the edges of some of this gray just to pick out this color a little more. Grime some things up, little highlights on these engines back here and stuff. Like, as a tabletop mini, this thing's done, right? Like, this is a fine and competent looking snow speeder, but we got to get it looking extra well, and then working on the base, of course, but we'll get there. Guys, I think I'm gonna call the stream there tonight. Thank you for coming to hang out. It was great chatting with you guys. I love talking about Star Wars, and I love it so much. I feel like, yeah, I think there might be a Monday stream in my future on May the 4th. I think it might have to happen. And we might have to paint some Star Wars minis on May the 4th. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal to me. So, just as tradition. But you all take care. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful evening. And yeah, have a great Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. I think I'm going to be painting something really off the wall, some Gundam, if that's cool with you guys this week. So yeah, we're gonna see if we can paint kind of a simpler Gundam kit, see how that works. But Misfit, Phaedros, Jaded Valkyrie, Frankie Fingers, you guys have a wonderful day tomorrow. Have a great night, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.